Adore or despise, Rachael Ray has had a great career spanning decades thanks to her energetic and carefree approach to cooking on television. Her incredible legacy was cemented not just by her long life but also by the popularity of her novels and the accolades she received. Regardless of the numerous obstacles she had to overcome in relation to her health, her family, and her resources, people thought things weren't as great as she had made them out to be when she announced her departure after 17 years. Some went so far as to say she didn't seem as happy as she actually was. In this article, we will explore Rachael Ray's life and the difficulties she has overcome, many of which are unknown to the general public. The town of Glens Falls, New York, is the birthplace of Rachael Domenica Ray. Her father has French, Scottish, and Welsh ancestry, while her mother is from Sicily. At the age of 8, Rachael and her family relocated to Lake George, New York. Rachael struggled with health challenges such as voice problems throughout her infancy and into adulthood. She had a modest upbringing and a passion for the kitchen. Rachael attended Pace University, located in New York, after graduating from Lake George Senior High School. Despite the fact that her mother was a restaurant owner in New York's capital area, she dropped out of school after 2 years and found employment at the Macy's Marketplace Sweets counter in New York City. She turned down a raise at Macy's and took a job at a specialty grocery store called Agatha and Valentina. She had a job in Manhattan and lived in Queens when she was robbed twice in a week by the same perpetrator. Her apartment building lobby was the scene of the initial incident. In order to protect herself, she brandished her mace. The thief escalated his aggression the second time around. Rachael claimed he brutally assaulted her with his revolver after dragging her down the alley, seemingly desiring to end her life. She returned to the New York Adirondacks and took a job managing the restaurants at the Sagamore Resort on Lake George after these terrifying events. While in Queensbury, New York, she was an employee at Sutton's Marketplace as well. Commercials featuring her cider donuts and grilled raisin bread were even produced by them. In 2001, she made her debut as a guest on the Today Show, which was her big break in the food industry. During her tenure at the supermarket, Rachael saw individuals who disliked cooking. It was then that the concept for 30-minute dinners came to her. She went so far as to teach a session on how to whip up a supper in under half an hour. Rachael earned her own culinary segment called 30-minute dinners because people appreciated her lively demeanor in the kitchen. Her ability to whip up delicious meals in less half an hour caused it to explode in popularity. With the success of her segment on the Today Show, Rachael penned her debut cookbook, 30-Minute Meals, in 2001. The book was a smashing success, further elevating Rachael to superstar status in the culinary world. After that, she continued to host her own shows and appear as a guest on various TV programs, all while pursuing a career in cuisine. John Cusimano was introduced to her at a party in 2004 by a mutual acquaintance who had been attempting to introduce them for a year. On Rachael's show, John said that the buddy had invited everyone tall, including exes, even though neither Rachael nor John are particularly towering. John made a light-hearted comment about how they happened to cross paths in a sea of knees. People magazine reported that Rachael initially suspected Cusimano of being gay. Their love tale began when she changed her mind about introducing him to another attractive Italian man she knew. Rachael and John were married in Montalcino, Tuscany, Italy on September 24, 2005. Lake Luzerne, New York is her primary residence. A Manhattan apartment in Greenwich Village next to the studio is also hers. Since then, they've been together. Daytime talk show host Rachael Ray's 2006 debut, The Rachael Ray Show, quickly rose to prominence. She became a household name thanks to the show's success. She was able to showcase her culinary skills and kind personality to the audience. Rachael has dedicated her career to the goal of making cooking accessible and enjoyable for all. Even her kitchenware and kitchen implements were handmade by her. But from that point on, things began to decline. There were whispers in 2008 that Rachael could be diagnosed with throat cancer. After an article in the National Enquirer revealed that she was going to undergo tumor removal surgery, the public took a break from following her. Rachael may require radiation therapy for a tumor on her voice cords, according to another article's cited source. going so far as to imply that cancer cells could be present. Despite the fact that the cancer rumor was unfounded, she continued to have health issues. A representative for Rachael informed People magazine following the revelation in the National Enquirer that Rachael required voice cord surgery. Nonetheless, a benign cyst was removed during the operation. Malignancy was not the reason. Rachael was not unwell and was in good health, according to the spokeswoman. Rachael underwent a brief outpatient operation in December 2008. Her job routine was temporarily disrupted for only 1 week as a result. The tapings for Rachael Ray and Food Network went forward as planned, even though she had surgery. However, she had to cope with horrific events on multiple occasions. The bond between Rachael and her mother and the rest of her family is strong. The importance of her mother to her was frequently brought up, and she frequently referred to her as the best cook she knows. The fact that Rachael's mother was there for her first appearance on the Today Show was a major factor in the fact that the Food Network took notice of her. There have been difficulties for Rachael's family despite their closeness. Geraldine Domenica Scuderi, Rachael's aunt, died in 2013 when Rachael was visiting her, which created a rift in the family. In the latter part of November, 77-year-old Geraldine was taking care of Rachael's house. After a while of going outdoors to scatter bird seed, she found herself unable to get back inside the house. She attempted to re-enter the building by breaking a window, but the weather was too chilly. Her unfortunate demise went unnoticed till the following day. In the aftermath, Rachael's relatives staked claims to Geraldine's murder against her. Since Geraldine was without her house key, they claimed that Rachael was being careless. Geraldine had lung issues which may have played a role in her collapse, as they also noted. The situation became even more precarious when Rachael skipped the burial to focus on filming a TV show. Even though this made some of her relatives angry, Rachael's brother defended her by saying that no one else was mad at her for skipping the funeral. Even in her extended family, problems persisted. John, her spouse, and she seemed to be the picture of perfect marriage perfection. John frequently appears beside her, whether it's at a media event, a TV show, or even just on her social media accounts. The newlyweds encountered a major obstacle approximately 1 year after their wedding in Italy. Under the headline "Rachael Ray's Secret Pain, Husband Caught Cheating the Renowned Chef" was featured on the cover of the National Enquirer magazine in November 2006. John allegedly continued his affair with a Florida woman for 5 years after they were married, according to the magazine. Furthermore, it was mentioned that another woman asserted that he had paid her to perform some terrible things. Rachael and John both denied the rumors at the time. Rachael called all the rumors of their marital problems nonsense and put an end to them. "Everyone talks about other people," Rachael said at that moment. "However, our loved ones are upset by this news. Our safety is a concern for them." The tabloids continued to harass them even after she asked them to cease. The questioner claimed to have seen John and Rachael at a New York City bar in 2013. He was always hanging out with his female buddies, according to the source. John contemplated suing the publication after the pair refuted the charges once more. Thankfully, the pair has dealt with any issues that have arisen since that time. With that out of the way, Rachael and John celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary in 2015 by holding a second wedding ceremony at the same Italian castle where they first tied the knot. They invite their loved ones, including several well-known faces, to join them in celebrating their anniversary. The affection between Rachael and John has not faded at all. Rachael recited Charles Bernstein's poem "All the Whiskey in Heaven" as part of the vow renewal ceremony. Rachael is well known for her devotion to dogs, which is not unexpected given her abundance of affection. She frequently mentions her puppy, Isabeau, in her magazine articles and TV broadcasts. Rachael was devastated by the loss of Isabeau. Isabeau passed away quietly in our arms in her backyard in the Adirondack Mountains of New York, basking in the sun, according to her Instagram post about the terrible news. It is evident that the beautiful puppy, who had been loved by Rachael and John since her adoption in 2005, died away while being cherished. Rachael brought up the fact that she and John learned a lot about empathy and compassion from Isabeau's unconditional affection. As a team, Rachael and Isabeau educated a lot of people about the importance of helping animals in shelters, particularly those in need of sympathy. Rachael has educated many about the plight of strays by speaking out for animal welfare causes like adoption and rescue, and by sharing her own personal devotion to pets with her fan base. Indeed, Rachael has proven to be an animal-loving, kind person. Also, the proceeds from the sale of Rachael Ray Nutrish go toward the Rachael Ray Foundation, which she established to promote animal welfare. There may not be another Isabu, but thanks to Rachael's efforts, a lot of pets will find loving homes. Rachael is crucial in assisting animals, according to Joanne Johannan, North Shore Animal League America's Senior Vice President of Operations. She is a wonderful advocate for shelter pets because she is compassionate, imaginative, full of life, and genuine. And her beloved family. Rachael, John, and Isabu will never forget her. Rachael recently explained the origin of Isabu's name. They took her in as their own the moment their first pity dog, Boo, died unexpectedly. Isabu is a combination of Rachael's favorite girl's name, Isabella, and Boo, a name for an exceptional and endearing dog. Rachael Ray Nutrish is the name of Rachael's dog food brand, which is not surprising. The primary goal of the brand is to provide pets with nutritious food. It in turn helps other kinds of creatures. Part of the proceeds from the sale of Nutrish go towards supporting animals in need through the Rachael Ray Foundation. But Nutrish hasn't been without its share of problems. No dog chow should be considered natural if it contains weed killers, according to a 2018 claim. The first grievance was rejected due to its lack of clarity. They revised and resubmitted the complaint after some time had passed. Once again, though, the lawsuit was dismissed. A fresh case surfaced in 2020 asserting that testing had detected canine DNA in the meal. Moreover, there were far more ingredients than the 6 that were really called for in the recipe. There was another lawsuit that was also dismissed, claiming that the food wasn't as healthful as advertised. Rachael's relationships with her friends are likewise troubled. Mario Batali, a famous chef, was the target of many harassment and sexual misconduct claims in 2017. Batali, The Fall of a Superstar Chef, was a documentary that continued to chronicle the claims even after he settled 2 cases and was found not guilty in another. This occurred in 2022. Rachael defended her friend Mario, which hurt his reputation even more. It was upsetting to some. Although she hadn't brought up the claims with Mario in a 2019 interview, Rachael did say that they still spoke. Emphasizing him seemed unjust to her. She went on to say that rude language is a problem in the kitchen for both sexes. Rachael thought the food business always treated her fairly, though he felt Mario was unfairly treated. Some people's antipathy for Rachael has grown over the years, maybe due to her defense of a friend who was accused of harassment. Other chefs and even some of her admirers have panned her. Some individuals just don't like Rachael, and they've been critical of her. Rachael Ray Sucks is now the replacement for I Hate Rachael Ray, one of the websites she mentioned. It's no secret that she's been the target of criticism from her peers in the industry. Some people have spoken out against Rachael, including Martha Stewart. In an appearance with a BC in 2009, Martha Stewart made derogatory comments about Rachael, which made her life much more difficult. Stewart asserted that Rachael had previously expressed her inability to bake and her disapproval of Rachael's most recent cookbook. The fact that Rachael became famous for her emphasis on easy and fast recipes has led many to criticize her. Giada De Laurentiis, Anthony Bourdain, and Emeril Lagasse were among the famous chefs who voiced similar grievances. Some of the hostility towards Rachael, though, appears to have faded with the passage of time. Emeril Lagasse and Rachael are now good friends after putting their differences aside. The frequent appearances of Emeril on Rachael's show suggest that their previous disagreements have been resolved. Some haven't made it easy at all. Someone has said that Rachael's recipes aren't very creative. There are a ton of recipes in her 20 cookbooks that folks can't wait to try. There are likely thousands of recipes associated with her name, given the abundance of recipes found online and in her periodicals. Fans were astonished to hear from those in the culinary industry that she doesn't actually make all the recipes featured in her magazine or TV show. For instance, in 2012, an article titled "I Was a Cookbook Ghostwriter" was published in the New York Times. It disclosed that certain well-known chefs, such as Rachael, may not genuinely author their own recipes or manuals. Fans were piqued and began to inquire about this. During an episode of her show, Rachael Ray discussed this topic and said that she writes her cookbooks while spending time at home with her family. However, she did admit that she does have assistance with the book's layout and finishing touches, such as the glossary. Not everyone took Rachael's side. Famous chef Bobby Flay was one of them. It is Bobby's firm belief that Rachael writes her cookbooks that he expressed on Today. He went so far as to say that he has seen her work on them while filming her TV shows, so we know she's involved. Another charge surfaced, satisfying some but not all. It was a huge event when Rachael launched her show Rachael Ray to have a live audience. Even though Rachael worked very hard, some people thought she wasn't the most natural host when the cameras weren't rolling. Viewers of the live broadcast were divided. Although not everyone was overjoyed, some really enjoyed themselves. There was a range of opinions expressed in their TripAdvisor reviews. Some people thought it was fantastic, while others said not to get their hopes up. Even in 2019, someone felt sorry for Rachael's employees because she seemed glum and unhappy. They wanted to know why, if she wasn't enjoying the show, she continued to do it. Rachael, though, need not be concerned about such critiques at this time. The final season of her show, Rachael Ray, has concluded. New television projects have taken her on, such as her Hulu series that follows individuals who, like Rachael, have overcome adversity. One of those moments was on August 9, 2020, when a chimney fire destroyed her Adirondack home. More than a decade ago, she and her husband built that house. It was really important to them. Regrettably, due to the fast growth of the fire, they were forced to evacuate one night. Their home was totally gutted by the fire when it was all said and done. In that fire, Rachael lost a lot of her possessions, so when she made the decision to rebuild, she aimed for the new house to mimic the old one's atmosphere. She made certain safety modifications, such as covering the new house with a tin roof, and attempted to replicate everything else, including the furnishings and room layout. She hoped that, by reflecting on what had happened, she could avoid a repeat performance. There were other important decisions she would have to make besides rebuilding her Adirondack house. A Tuscany, Italy house was also hers in 2021. Hulu viewers have been following her renovations on a series titled Rachael Ray's Italian Dream Home. Hurricane Ida made landfall in New York City in September of 2021, presenting her with yet another formidable challenge. The ongoing pandemic only made matters worse for her. The city was severely damaged by Hurricane Ida, even though the storm was not officially declared a hurricane at the time of its landfall, causing unprecedented downpours which cost millions of dollars in damage and claimed the lives of multiple people. The devastation caused by the hurricane also extended to Rachael's residence. Moreover, 3% of the buildings in New York City were damaged by Hurricane Ida. The hurricane, according to Rachael's account in People magazine, melted the fireplace and ceiling speakers, giving the impression that the entire apartment had been leveled. In addition to the already extensive damage, the apartment and the entire building were flooded again to the ground level when a crew arrived to assess the situation by inadvertently breaking a water main. She had returned to her apartment in time for the 2021 Christmas season, nevertheless. On one occasion, she even let her viewers in on the reveal of her Christmas decorations. After enduring a string of unfortunate incidents, it was a joyful occasion. May 2023 was the air date of the Rachael Ray Show's final episode. She ended her 17-season run on her daytime chat show. There were more than 30 Daytime Emmy nominations and 3 wins for Outstanding Talk Show during the show's 17 years on broadcast. Rachael announced her intention to focus on her own production company, Free Food Studios, when the show concluded after 17 seasons. She re-emerged on television with a new series and other projects thanks to a new partnership with +E Networks. She urged her followers to stay tuned for updates on her upcoming life changes. Meanwhile, John and Rachael have been enjoying some much-needed vacation time. Rachael posted photos and videos from their holiday on the Italian island of Elba. She mentioned that she hadn't taken a break from work in years before this Labor Day weekend. Working tirelessly at Giannuccia Mano at the age of 12 paid off in a spectacular 4 days on Elba. "I am filled with joy to be here. It means a lot to me to put in the effort. However, taking a moment to unwind and breathe when we can is a true blessing." Rachael, though, hasn't merely been on vacation. Additionally, she has been devoting herself to her lifelong goal of assisting the Ukrainian people. Her fifth visit to the war-torn nation was in June of 2023, during which she once again shared her culinary skills with local youngsters and gave medical supplies to a local clinic. She has also collaborated on collections with companies such as Delbrina Jewelry and Laura Laurento, via which the Unbroken Rehabilitation Center and the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America will get the proceeds. Rachael Ray has returned to television in August 2024 with her new cooking show, Meals in Minutes, airing on the FYI cable network. The show looks to be a lot of fun for Rachael, and she clearly enjoys making it. At her Adirondacks house where she films it, her husband John is frequently present, usually mixing up a cocktail. She ensures that the show remains grounded and realistic, providing a wealth of practical advice. The fact that Rachael Ray persisted through thick and thin is evidence of her strength and willpower. Despite her celebrity and fortune, she has had a rocky personal life, dealing with everything from health issues as a child to family problems to public criticism to the tragic loss of her home. Nevertheless, Rachael has always managed to triumph over these challenges. Using them as stepping stones, she is constructing a profession that showcases her culinary skills and her dedication to serving others. A strong reminder that success often comes with struggle, but what truly defines us is how we rise above it. Rachael Ray's narrative serves as this as she pushes forward into new endeavors and continues to make a difference in the world.